Welcome to the Manifesting Doll podcast. I'm Barbara Orban from No Diet Babe. I'm a spiritual mindset coach and weight loss expert. If you are a spiritual babe wanting to up-level your life around your body, health, wellness, spirituality, law of attraction and manifestation, then this is the podcast for you. I'm here to give you the tools, teachings, and strategies to manifest the body and life of your dreams. As spiritual babes, we know to focus on love as opposed to fear. So get ready to learn how to implement spiritual teachings to weight loss, wellness, and your daily life, coming from a place of love and abundance. This is a celebration of how we can shift our inner perception of ourselves and watch our outer selves shift. You can become the best version of yourself, and I'm here to help. So let's get started. Hey babes, welcome to the Manifesting Doll podcast. I'm Barbara Orban from NoDietBabe.com, and welcome to today's episode. Hopefully today's episode will sound okay, and last episode sounded okay because I'm actually using a new mic. It's like a more of a portable one. So I can use my MacBook, and I'm just at my parents' place with Bella. And yeah, just allows me to be on the go a little bit more, just makes me feel like I have a little bit more freedom and I don't have to be stuck at home. So anyway, you guys, today's episode, I want to talk about a question that I had on Instagram about eating and getting off track and stuff like that. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to answer that question, and I think that it's going to benefit you all because I'm going to kind of like expand on it and just like go a little bit like broader on it, so you understand a little bit more. But I just wanted to remind you guys like that Emerge starts next week. So by the time you guys get this podcast, it's like we're on the weekend, right? And you pretty much have like, we've got Voxer support opens up on Monday. So like we kind of like get the energy started on Monday, Australian Eastern Daylight Time, Monday. And also like the first session is at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And yeah, like keep in mind, like I've woken up before, you know, at annoying times to join programs that I resonate with, that I want to do. I've also, you know, like, it's just like if you want to be a part of it, you'll make it work. You know what I mean? Like, and the Voxer support is amazing. You can access that. I showed an example on my Instagram stories of what Voxer looks like, and it's really, really cool. It's so great for accountability. Even with my like private clients with Voxer, like, I just message them basically every day. Like I check in, and voice is just such a different energy too than just text. And it's just like having conversations every day, and I just have conversations with my clients and check in, and like they tell me how they're feeling, and it's just that accountability. It makes such a difference. So that's why I'm really excited about this round of Emerge, and it's probably the only time I'm going to offer it because it's really high level support, and you get group coaching. You're essentially getting the course for free, right? So I've had a few people say to me, I don't think I'm an emotional eater. Is it right for me? And I'm like, it's worth it for the group coaching alone. And whether or not you think you're an emotional eater, manifestation is about emotion. So for me, from my point of view, this is just my point of view, okay? This is my life experience and opinion. Everything is to do with your emotions. Your conditioned emotions create your reality. So if you have a reality that you're wanting to change, then this is the work that you have to do, like full stop. Do you know what I mean? So I when somebody comes to me saying, I'm not an emotional eater, but I need to lose weight, I think to myself, yes, okay, so maybe you're not really far on the spectrum where you go, I'm going to label myself with a problem. And I don't encourage people to label themselves as though, like, I have a problem and I need to fix this problem. Like, I definitely don't think that it's good to label yourself in that way. But it's also important to understand that although you don't want to label yourself as having a problem of, I'm an emotional eater, and maybe you're not far down the spectrum of that case, there's still something. There's still something in your vibration that's not creating the reality that you want. And coming back to the basics of like how the universe works, like you get to have everything you want. If you have a desire, you get to have it. And what's like, you've got to then work on what's not allowing you to receive that, because you're meant to have everything that you want. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's the way the universe works. Like Genevieve, my money coach that I'm like obsessed with, that I work with a lot, she has this saying that really helped me when I was having trouble around my mindset. Like when I quit my job and I was having trouble, I was having extreme anxiety about paying the bills, paying the mortgage. And she was like, it's like money's like oxygen. It's all around you. And the way I think of it now is not just money, like everything you want, like love, happiness, the body that you want, everything is all around you. It's all oxygen. But we can hold our breath and stop ourselves from receiving that oxygen. And it's the same thing with your reality. Like everything that you want, like you want it because like God put the desires in our heart, right? Like if you want something, you get to have it. It's not bad or greedy or wrong or silly to want it, but it's like, it's all about how you want to feel. You think that you're going to feel good in the having of that. And so that works. You have to work that into it as well. And like, yeah, you got to figure out how to like open yourself up. And there's certain things, energy leaks, or like you're just not calibrated to the right vibration, and you just have to tweak all that. And that's really what Emerge is all about. That's what I need you to work on. Even if you're not an emotional eater, it's the foundational work that will lead you into strategy, because strategy is part of it, but you can give the same strategy to 5 people and they get completely different results, and whether or not they actually stick to it as well. And the way that you're like this surface level way of, I'm going to get motivated, I'm going to change my habits, it's not actually bringing in the deeper understanding of psychology and the research around how our brain and behaviors actually work. Like it's such an outdated system. Like I was even telling my client, I'm like, psychology and the science around our brain and has expanded so much in the last 20 to 30 years. It's like when we were younger, like everything's outdated. Like the mainstream way of thinking is so outdated. It's so not up to date with the fact of what's actually productive in terms of how we think. And the way that our parents were taught and the way that we were taught in society and just how the everyday people function is so not up to speed with what's actually helpful or productive. So when it comes to losing weight or any desire, even manifestation or any woo-woo stuff aside, like you have to be clever. You have to be clever and understand that there's a different way of doing things that's clever. It's clever in how it actually works. But anyway, I know you guys, like if you listen to me, I better hope that you already believe in manifestation and law of attraction, because I'm not here to freaking convince anyone. I can't be bothered with that shit because I'm so far into seeing that this is the truth that I'm not gonna try and convince anyone. Like I'm literally like that rolling eyes emoji right now if I have to convince anyone that law of attraction and manifestation is a real thing and that the laws of the universe, I'm kind of like, dude, do you not understand that there's laws that, like the physics and the laws of the universe govern everything? How is everything so precise? There's nothing that's just by accident. Everything is precise. I mean, it's stupid and ignorant to think. Like, it's like law of gravity is like, oh, it's only going to work for the lucky people that, like, or the unlucky people that are going to fall off a cliff. Like, and there's going to be the lucky ones who float. It's like, no, there's laws that apply. You can't just deny them or choose to be like, oh, like, I'm gonna, like, that particular law of gravity doesn't apply to me. Like, there's certain laws in place that govern the universe. Like, that's just how it works. And so you can use them, knowing them, and be clever about it. That's what I want to tell you. You have to be clever about it, because you want to think that by beating yourself up, by like thinking of the worst case scenario, that's going to help you, but it's not. Like, just look at the evidence. Like, look at the evidence of your life. All you have to do is become conscious and see, and that can take time to see. But yeah, anyway, I'm going on a bit of a rant now about law of attraction. But the point is here that, like, what I want you guys to understand is that some of you are like, I'm not an emotional eater, but you're not seeing the ways in which your relationship to your life is the reason why you struggle with your weight. So I'm going to say that again, like, your relationship to your life, meaning encompassing the whole areas of your life, everything that is you and your life and the way you live it. You, your life and the way you live it, the decisions that you make every single day, the choices that you make every single day create your reality, okay? And if your choices and decisions that you make every day don't line up with what you want, there's an emotional problem there, because your emotions drive your decisions and your choices, right? So that's why we call it emotional eating, but you have to change that to like emotional work. You have to do the emotional work to change your reality. It doesn't matter what area of your life you're trying to change, because what happens, it's all about the choices that you make, the little decisions that you make. Are you productive? Are you unproductive? Are you clear-headed or are you foggy? Are you aware or are you disconnected? Are you conscious or unconscious? Like, are you motivated and inspired, or procrastination and self-sabotage? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's all to do with your emotions and doing the deep inner work. And that's what the Course Emerge is all about. Because then when you have that relationship and that foundation, you perceive strategy differently. And when you perceive strategy differently, it's suddenly you see how simple it is. And when you see how simple something is, it's easy to execute. Okay? So now you understand the difference between what you see as motivation and you see as consistency is actually about the decisions and the choices that you make each and every day. And it's about who you are being on an identity level. It's about just becoming the person that does those things easily because it's who you are. And you're having trouble becoming that person because you think that you have to do certain things in order to become that person. But when you go to do those certain things, it feels hard and it's a struggle and it's complicated and you feel like you need motivation in order to do those things. But what the problem is that motivation requires you to push and force, and then your energy doesn't allow that because it feels draining and you feel exhausted. But then the actual problem there is your emotions. It's your relationship to your life. Because when you heal the relationship, the underlying things, every choice that you make is automatic because it's aligned and it's easy. You see the suddenly your perception of the strategy is simple, and you just go, oh yeah, I need to do XYZ, done. It's already done. I get on with my life. It's easy, and you don't use up so much unnecessary energy in order to lose the weight. Okay? And you just become a person who maintains it easily because you've done the work on your subconscious mind. Okay? I just need you to see that that's the work that you need to do, because people just get caught up in strategy, but the strategy means nothing if you aren't a person who can execute it. And being a person who can execute it isn't about worrying about like beating yourself up that you're just not that person, right? Because your ego wants to be like, well, she's different. And you put people who execute the strategy on a pedestal. But can't you see that that's part of the emotional problem? Can't you see that that's the part that I'm going to help you shift? Do you get what I'm saying now? Like, I'm hoping this is like clicking for you guys that listen, like, that are still kind of like, I can't see how weight loss manifestation works. Like, I believe in manifestation, and I don't want people that like, I don't want people to come into my courses or coaching that are really like, I need convincing, or like, I need to like, I don't believe in manifestation. But on the other hand, even with money mindset, I was telling my coach, I'm like, even though consciously I know all this, it's like my subconscious mind needs to hear it over and over again, and I need to and it needs not this convincing, but it's like this like energy of hearing it over and over again in multiple different ways explained, just feeds my subconscious mind and shifts my perspective of things, and ultimately shifts my reality and limiting beliefs. Like, that's how we change our limiting beliefs. Yeah, is to see it differently, to constantly have conversations with our brain of how we want to see things differently, or listening to our content and coaches over and over again to repeat to our brains what we want them to believe. And then we've repeated it enough times that our brain goes, this is the new belief now. This is how we perceive the world now, right? So anyway, that's why I love the work in Emerge, because it's that foundation. And also it's that deep identity work. It's that manifestation work, right? So it's like when you're like, how do I attract money? And I do the homework on money mindset, and I do like the homework, and I write out all the things that I'm doing each and every day that are in this vibration of abundance. It's like, that's the work in Emerge, is like, what is the vibration I'm holding each and every day around food and weight? So it helps emotional eaters because they're really far down on the spectrum, but it helps anyone wanting to lose weight, because there is something, if you weren't having to change something in your vibration, you'd be there by now. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there is something, there is emotional work to be done for everybody that has a goal to lose weight. Some people, you're saying to me, but then how come some people just do strategy and they lose weight? Well, because they're unconsciously competent. Because some people are doing it unconsciously. They just know and they can feel it. It's not like, not everybody, like, we have to give people credit. It's not like we're not like more superior because we have this knowledge on law of attraction or whatever. It's helpful to know it, but there are some people who just have, if you feel into it enough, and I believe that if we're, even people who don't aren't like, don't believe in God or whatever, they can tap in, they can feel into it, they can trust themselves and have the vibration of faith. Like, some people have faith in God, other people have faith in themselves, but it's still this vibration of, I know what the fuck to do and I've got this, right? And for some of you, that doesn't come natural. You're not competent in it. So there are people that decide to do that and decide to know that they know what to do, or even if they don't know what to do, they're going to fucking figure it out. And that vibration causes them to succeed, even if they're not consciously aware of the fact that they're doing that. And the rest of you are sitting over here going, I just can't get motivated. And it's like, yeah, but how do you get from there to the people who just do it unconsciously competent? You do the work. You don't be a fucking whinger about it, of like, how come they get it so easy and I don't? All of us have challenges in life, so stop comparing. Just focus on your own path and move forward, right? Because if you start, this is you just leaking your energy, right? If you go, well, they have it easier, and how come I'm this age and I'm not married yet, and they got married and they didn't have to do any self-development work. Yeah, cool. But you're leaking your energy and you're not going to get to where you want to be any faster. So you have to be clever. So anyway, that's the thing. Okay, but anyway, I'm not really answering this question. I need to answer this question because I'm getting on a bit of a ramble tangent over here. But what essentially is the question here? Is the question that I got in my DMs was, what about when I am hungover? I love these questions, like, because, like, I'm really, like I'm a bit of maybe I'm a rebel at heart, but it's like, you know, like, I love to drink, I love my cocktails, and it's funny because it's like, I get all these questions. What about when I'm hungover and I overeat? And it's like, okay. So, first of all, drinking is an interesting one because drinking comes into emotional eating as well. And it's something that I've observed in myself, because coming back to emotional eating, it's not just you're sad and you're crying and you're going to eat a pint of ice cream. It can be, I want to have fun, and so I'm so excited about having this fun, and I'm seeking so much stimulation right now that I'm just going to pile my face into all this food and alcohol because I'm having so much fun. But what you're really doing is you're using that to take you away somewhere. Even if it's like, I'm going out with my friends to dinner and I just want to be able to eat all the food. What are you doing there? You're like seeking so much stimulation that you're wanting to disconnect from your body and how your body feels to enjoy the experience. And a lot of you do this and have no idea that you've even done this, but that's how we actually get drunk. Like, let me just come back to when I'm really, really, really like eating properly and I'm really connected, I find it hard to drink so much that I get really drunk. And I'm not saying that I'm totally connected all the time, but like when I'm really connected and I just stay with the feeling of like I've had two cocktails and I like and I'm like enjoying this vibe, I'm enjoying this experience and I'm staying really present, I don't desire to drink until I like am super, super drunk. But if I'm going to get super drunk and like sometimes if I'm like with people who are doing it and it's that vibe of I don't want to miss out. Can you see how I get it? Like I get it. I go through this too, yeah? When you're like, Oh, but the fear of missing out. Yeah, I know. I've been there. I still experience it now. I get it. And they're like, oh, let's have another drink. Let's have another drink or whatever. And you have that peer pressure, or whether it's drink or food. Let's have this. Let's go and get this. Let's order this. It's that peer pressure, and it's that I don't want to miss out. Everyone else is doing it. I don't want to miss out. But when you do it and you're not like, but how do I feel? You're going, how do I feel on emotional level? I don't want to miss out. That's emotional. Okay? How you feel in terms of your stomach, that's not. So people get confused and then they have no awareness of which is which. You're so like disconnected, and it's fine. Like, I know which is which, and even though sometimes I make decisions from emotions, I'm still not so fully disconnected that I don't. Anyway, so with drinking, right, that's one aspect. It's still, when you're drinking too much, it's still the same principles of emotional eating. It's the same thing. Anyway, when the next day, if you find yourself getting off track with your eating, it's because you're trying to escape the discomfort of the hangover. Okay? So it's still emotional eating. You're feeling discomfort. Maybe you're tired. You're feeling like shit, or you're lethargic or whatever, and you're wanting stimulation. So then you eat. It's the same shit. It's all the same shit. It's all part of the bigger picture of emotional eating. Because when you lack consistency, like I said at the start of the episode, your choices and decisions for each day determine whether or not you're consistent. And that isn't governed by willpower alone, because our emotions are part of the process of making decisions and choices. And people will say how they're disciplined, but they're disciplined because they haven't got this other area that's sabotaging their choices every day, which is the emotional aspect. That's a bigger payoff than them being disciplined. So we want to put people who are disciplined on a pedestal, but really they're not on a pedestal. They've just not got this big emotion in their way. So then the natural flow of inspiration is there. Okay? So it isn't about, let me push myself to be disciplined and motivation, which is like upstream. It's, let me move the thing that's blocking the river so I can go downstream easily. This is Abraham Hicks, yeah. If you don't know Abraham Hicks, then why are you listening to me? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just so obsessed. But like upstream, downstream, I'm hoping, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And if not, I think I've explained it on another podcast episode. But yeah, like, it's still emotional eating. It's still, you need to understand that when you're being inconsistent, it's about the choices and the thought patterns and the emotions that lead to your everyday decisions and choices. And if you're not staying on track, you're not connected, you're not aware enough of your actual thought patterns around food and weight. You're not aware of the emotions around food and weight that lead to the choices. And that is about doing the work that I teach in Emerge. And that's it. Like, that's it. Because what is that an example of? It's an example of you going, I know what I should be doing, but I'm not doing it. Blah, blah, blah. I wonder why I don't do it. Oh, I need to get more motivated. No, you need to understand where your choices come from. They don't just pop out of thin air. There's a science to it. Your choices come from your patterns, your learnt patterns. Your learnt patterns. You call them habits. I go deeper, right? You talk about the surface. I go down and talk about the seed. You're talking about, I want apples, not oranges. And I go, well, you fucking have to change the seed. You can look at an orange. It's not going to turn into an apple. You can keep telling it to be disciplined, but it's not going to turn into a fucking apple. Get motivated. Why don't you turn from an orange to an apple? You just need to be more disciplined. You just need to get more motivated. No, you just need to fucking plant a different seed. Do you know what I'm saying? Because your brain runs on repeat every day, every day, every day, every day. You'll notice that even if you change your circumstances, you go, I want to move because I don't like this job. I don't like this job because everyone's shit and I want to move places. So you move places and then you complain that that job is shit too. And it's like, yeah, because of your patterns. Because it's you. You're the problem. I don't want to sound like a nasty bitch right now. I'm not. All I have is love, and I'm saying this from love because I've been there. I'm that person too. So I have compassion for you all and for myself because we're all in this together. I'm not sitting on this pedestal thinking, oh, I've got this. No, I'm living it with you. I get it. And I know and I'm aware, and then I shift as well. I'm not perfect either. I have to do this work every day too. But slowly, bit by bit, my reality changes. Everything changes and it's fucking worth it. And that's just a choice. Are you going to do it or not? Do you want to change your reality or not? Where are you going to be in 10 years' time? Where are you going to be in 5 years' time? Where are you going to be in 2021? Are you going to be setting the same goals again and going, I got nowhere? Or are you going to do the deep inner work and change from the orange to the apple? That's what it means. Because you can sit here and go why do I keep on going off track? And it's because you haven't looked at the thought processes and the emotions that govern your decisions and choices each day. And that's it. That's the work. That's what's going to get you to where you want to be. So to answer the question, that's a broad answer of it. But to be more specific, number one, you overeat when you're hungover because you're escaping discomfort. Number two, you're allowed to choose certain choices of fatty and savory foods. I do. I order burgers after a night of drinking. But that doesn't mean I go off track. Okay? It's a different perspective. And yeah, I don't know. There's probably science around why we choose high salt, high fatty foods when we're hungover. But I don't overdo it and go off track because I am being a person that knows what to do, and the decisions I make align with the reality that I want to live because I've recalibrated my emotions and my thought patterns. And the way that I see it is that doesn't have to cause me to go off track, because that again is a dieting mentality, is this whole I go off track and then I've screwed things up. And even if there's behaviors to change, you have to take a step back and look at who you're being on an overall perspective in order, because you can't just micromanage shit. You have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Okay? Anyway, I hope that answers your question. I'm freaking boiling in this room right now, so I really want to end this episode because I feel like I'm sweating because I'm at my parents' place and I'm freaking boiling. And the funny thing is my mum listens to these episodes, so hi mum, I'm hot. I love you, but I'm hot. And so just another reminder that Emerge, come and join us if you really resonate with my work. I'd love to support you. I'd love to help you through this. I get so much fun out of group coaching and my Voxer support. We chat every day. It's fun. It's a great environment. It's so super good for accountability. It's just going to be a fun container to be in for the next 6 weeks. It's a nice small group. It's going to be really tight knit. We end up becoming like besties, and yeah, it's lots of fun. I can't wait. We start on Monday. So yeah, nodietbabe.com/emerge. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you loved this episode, I'd love for you to leave me an iTunes review. Don't forget to follow this podcast for more uplifting teachings to come. For more tips, inspiration, and teachings, come follow me on Instagram at nodietbabe or check out my website, nodietbabe.com. Until I see you next time, babes, lots of love.